Picture this. You've sold the apartment, packed the car, and hit the road chasing the dream of country bliss. You're imagining fresh air, endless horizons, and neighbors who actually know your name. Life's supposed to slow down, feel lighter, cheaper, better. But then reality creeps in. The wide-open spaces start to feel empty. The slower pace turns into boredom. Groceries cost more than in the city, jobs are scarce, and every hospital trip feels like a road trip. That dream you bought into? It's slipping through your fingers, replaced by a single haunting thought. Did I just make the biggest mistake of my life? Australia's small towns look perfect on postcards, but behind the scenic charm lies a harsher truth. Many are battling fading economies, crumbling services, and social problems that make everyday life tough. Today, we're uncovering the towns where moving might seem like a dream, until it becomes your biggest regret. Because as beautiful as they are, beauty won't pay the bills, keep you safe, or secure your family's future. Before we name names, let's get to the root of why certain towns become traps. Over the last 2 decades, regional Australia has been caught in a tug-of-war between population decline and sporadic booms. Mining towns rise and fall with commodity prices, leaving ghost streets when the market dips. Agricultural hubs face droughts, floods, and the brutal squeeze of global competition. Others simply never adapted to the new economy. Industries left, jobs vanished, and young people fled for cities, leaving behind aging populations and empty main streets. Add to that limited hospitals, underfunded schools, expensive groceries, and unreliable public transport, and you have a recipe for frustration. So while some towns are marketed as affordable havens, they can quickly turn into places where survival becomes the daily challenge. Let's check them out. 1. Mount Isa, Queensland. Mount Isa, tucked away in the far northwest of Queensland, has long been sold as a mining powerhouse. For decades, copper, lead, and zinc kept the town alive, luring workers with the promise of fat paychecks and a rugged outback lifestyle. At its peak, Mount Isa buzzed with energy. Money flowed, pubs were full, and life felt good. But here's the problem. When mining slows, so does everything else. Today, the town is stuck in limbo. Yes, housing is cheap, but so is demand. Try selling later, and you might be stuck with it. Outside the mining bubble, jobs are few and far between. Then there's the remoteness. The nearest major city, Townsville, is a 9-hour drive away. That's not a road trip. It's an odyssey. Combine that with blistering heat that feels like stepping into an oven, and the limited amenities that make even buying milk an event, and you'll start questioning your life choices. Sure, the salary might tempt you, but ask yourself, how much is your sanity worth? 2. Broken Hill, New South Wales. Broken Hill is legendary. Australia's oldest mining town, dripping with history, art, and that rugged outback charm. On the surface, it feels like stepping into a living museum, with heritage buildings and wide open skies. But dig a little deeper, and the picture isn't as shiny as the brochures suggest. The mining industry that once made this town thrive has slowed dramatically, and like many places that relied on one big industry, Broken Hill hasn't quite found its plan B. Young people? They're leaving in droves, chasing university degrees and job opportunities in cities far away. What remains is an aging population and a local economy that feels like it's running on fumes. Healthcare is stretched thin, and if you need specialist care, prepare for a long drive, sometimes hundreds of kilometers. Even everyday things like groceries and fuel cost more, thanks to its remote location. Yes, Broken Hill's beauty is undeniable, but when the shine wears off and you're left battling high costs, limited jobs, and that creeping feeling of isolation, you'll realize the town's charm doesn't always translate into a good place to build a future. 3. Alice Springs, Northern Territory. Alice Springs sits at the very heart of Australia, surrounded by breathtaking red deserts and landscapes that feel almost otherworldly. It's a place steeped in Aboriginal culture and history, and tourists pour in every year, eager to experience Uluru and the magic of the outback. But here's the thing. Living in Alice Springs is a whole different story from visiting. The town has made national headlines for all the wrong reasons. Crime rates are high. Property break-ins, car thefts, and assaults are sadly common, leaving many residents on edge. Beneath this lies a deeper issue. Social tensions fueled by long-standing inequality and a lack of opportunities for Indigenous communities. The result? A town struggling to hold itself together, where services like healthcare and policing are under enormous pressure. And let's not forget the climate. Summers are scorching, think 40 degrees and up, while winter nights can leave you shivering like you're in a different country. For many who move here with dreams of outback adventure, The romantic vision quickly gives way to harsh reality. Before long, they're not counting sunsets. They're counting the days until they can pack up and leave. 4. Calguri, Western Australia. Calguri, once the glittering jewel of Australia's gold rush, built its name on dreams of striking it rich. Even today, mining rules the town, and during boom times, the paychecks can be jaw-dropping. On paper, it looks like an opportunity too good to pass up. But there's a catch, one big enough to swallow those dreams whole. This is a town tied to the unpredictable heartbeat of the mining market. When the industry thrives, so does Calguri. But when it stumbles, the entire economy feels the shock. Businesses shutter, house prices nosedive, and unemployment creeps up. The cycle is exhausting, especially for those not directly in mining. Then there's the remoteness. You'll pay more for everything, from groceries to plane tickets, and traveling anywhere beyond town can feel like an expedition. Add to that social challenges, including crime and substance abuse, and the picture gets even grimmer. For families, limited schools and stretched healthcare services only add to the strain. Unless you're ready to live life on the mining roller coaster, Calgari's promise of fortune may quickly turn into a regret-filled ride you can't wait to get off. 5. Port Augusta, South Australia. Port Augusta, perched at the crossroads of South Australia, was once an industrial powerhouse. Its power stations and shipping activity kept the town alive and buzzing. But when those industries shut down, so did a big part of its economic heartbeat. What followed was rising unemployment, social disadvantage, and a community grappling with its identity. Today, the town is trying to reinvent itself, with big talk about becoming a renewable energy hub. The vision is there, but the progress? Painfully slow. Outside of a few sectors, job opportunities are scarce, leaving many residents stuck in a cycle of underemployment or forced to leave in search of better prospects. Add to that the social issues, crime and antisocial behavior have made headlines. And you've got a town that struggles to attract and keep new residents. Sure, the nearby Flinders Ranges are breathtaking, and the sunsets are the kind you'll never forget. But when the beauty fades into the background of daily life, what's left can feel grim. For many who move here hoping for a fresh start, Port Augusta ends up being more of a holding pattern than a future. 6. Tenant Creek, Northern Territory. Tenant Creek, sitting halfway between Alice Springs and Darwin, looks like a quiet outback stop on the map. But moving here is a whole different experience, one that can hit you like a bucket of cold water. Life is tough in this town. Crime rates are worryingly high, with break-ins and antisocial behavior being an almost daily reality. Services are stretched thin, and economic opportunities are limited to a handful of sectors, mostly government or community-based work. For those who arrive with good intentions, teachers, health workers, public servants, the burnout rate is high. The challenges are relentless, and without strong support networks, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. The isolation only adds to the pressure. The nearest major centers are hours away, and even simple trips become logistical headaches. Yes, housing is cheap, but that's not the selling point it sounds like. When your days are marked by a lack of services, social challenges, and a feeling that you're cut off from the rest of the world, affordability becomes irrelevant. Many who move here end up leaving just as quickly, taking with them the hard lesson that Tenant Creek is not a place for the faint-hearted. 7. Morwell Victoria. Industry gone, hope fading. Morwell, nestled in Victoria's Latrobe Valley, was once the beating heart of coal power in Australia. For decades, the town thrived on the energy industry, with steady jobs and a strong sense of purpose. But when the power stations closed and coal declined, Morwell was left reeling. Unemployment climbed, businesses shuttered, and the community was forced into an identity crisis it's still trying to shake. There have been efforts to reinvent the town, talk of clean energy projects and economic diversification. But progress feels like it's crawling. For newcomers, the reality hits hard. Jobs outside a few industries are scarce, and the perception of social disadvantage can be discouraging. It's not just about finding work. It's about finding hope, and that's been in short supply. The irony? The surrounding region is stunning, with rolling hills and natural attractions that would make any tourist swoon. But beauty doesn't pay the bills. For many who move to Morwell, the mismatch between its scenery and its struggles makes it a hard place to build a stable, fulfilling life. When people pack up and move to these towns, they do it with dreams in their pockets. They're chasing affordability, a close-knit community, and a chance to start over away from the chaos of the city. At first, it feels like the right choice. The houses are cheaper, the streets are quieter, and life seems simpler. But then the cracks begin to show. Jobs are scarce. services are limited, and the isolation begins to gnaw at them. Social problems add another layer of stress. Slowly, hope fades, replaced by regret. For many, leaving becomes the only escape, often at a painful financial loss. These towns aren't just dots on a map or names in a warning list. They're home to real people. Families who've been there for generations, locals who take pride in their community, and neighbors who wouldn't trade their patch of Australia for anything. There's resilience here, and a fierce love for the land and the lifestyle it offers. But as powerful as that love is, it can't patch up crumbling infrastructure, create jobs out of thin air, or solve decades of economic neglect. The struggle of these towns mirrors a bigger national problem, an Australia where some regions surge ahead while others slowly slip through the cracks. Before moving, if you're thinking about packing up and heading to a regional town, slow down and ask yourself some tough questions first. What's the job market really like beyond the glossy headlines? Don't just rely on one industry or a few promising ads. Dig deeper into how stable those jobs are. Are the services enough for your lifestyle? Check whether the schools, hospitals, and shops meet your needs, or if you'll constantly be driving hours for basics. How remote is too remote for you? Isolation sounds romantic until you're facing a 9-hour drive for the nearest major city. What's the long-term future of the town's economy? Is it growing, diversifying, or slowly shrinking? Answering these honestly could save you from making a move you'll regret. Do your research, talk to locals, and think beyond the Instagram photos. A cheap house means little if you can't find work, access healthcare, or feel safe. Australia's small towns hold incredible beauty, but beauty doesn't pay the bills. Many of these places have been left behind by economic shifts, and moving there without understanding the risks can turn your dream into regret. These towns deserve investment, support, and attention, not abandonment. But until that happens, think carefully before you pack your bags. The dream of a better life is worth chasing, but only if the ground you land on is solid. Thank you for watching. Do you live in one of these towns or have you moved to one in the past? Share your story in the comments. Let others know what life is really like and what to watch out for.